What's up, YouTube? Photographer Ronnix from Ronnixphotography, and I know it has been long ever since I uploaded a new video on this channel, and yeah, I've been having so many issues, and of recent I've been so sick, and I'm still sick, so I just felt like I should upload a retouching tutorial or a retouching video of this image. And yeah, here we are. I took this image using a Canon 6D camera, and for the settings that I used I shot it at f4 at 250th of a second and ISO 100, and I used an 85mm lens, and I used the Canon 6D camera. I'm sorry if at all I'm going to be slow in this tutorial. So usually I first of all start by calibrating my image to get back the colors that in which I shot. So for the calibration, uh, usually I prefer to come right here, and if at all you don't have this icon right here, it is usually for the newer versions of Camera Raw, it's under the basic panel. You'll find it around here. So mine, I'm using an older version of Camera Raw, so mine is right here. So I'll get back the colors I shot this image in, and usually I shoot in Adobe Landscape, so I'll just come and click Landscape to get back these colors the way they were. So I'll come back to my basic adjustments, as you can see, and I'm going to do a little bit of adjustments to this image. I'm going to pop up my shadows, pull down my highlights and my blacks, add a little bit of vibrance, and you can see the image has some tint. I'm going to reduce on the tint and the temperatures too, because it looks kinda warm to me. I'm going to put some temperatures, and I'm going to increase on the exposure of this image like that. So I'm also going to add a little bit of blacks to this image and a little bit more of the contrast. So I'm going to open this image into Photoshop, and thank you guys for your we made 5k subscribers, so thank you guys for your support and the love. So I'm going to crop this image really tight, because I want the focus and emphasis to be on the model's face. That's why I want to crop it really tight. So I'm going to crop it like that. I'm going to click enter, and this is our image. So we're going to be retouching this image using frequency separation. So first of all, let's do a little bit of cleaning up. So let's get the healing brush and remove these pins that were put in this head wrap. I think that's fine, and I should say the model really had a nice, beautiful face. So we're going to be using frequency separation for this very image, and as usual, I'm not going to skip any step for the frequency separation. So we're going to start by duplicating the background layer twice, Ctrl J twice, or Command J, and brief information about frequency separation. Frequency separation divides the image into the color and the textures, so that's why we create these two layers right here. So we are going to deactivate. So let's first of all rename this. The lower layer is usually the color or the low frequency, and the upper layer is usually the texture, or you can name it high frequency. So whichever words you find across, you shouldn't get worried. So come right here to filter and come to blur, come to Gaussian blur. So what we're going to be doing right now, we are going to be removing uh, the textures from this very layer so that we can remain with the colors or the skin tones in this image. So we're going to move this slider until we see less of the skin texture of the model. So let's move this slider until we see less of the skin texture. So at around 8 we can see less skin texture, so click OK. Then select your high frequency layer and activate it. Come to image and come to apply image. So when you come to apply image, you get this little dialog box. So remember, you're going to now subtract the textures from this very layer. So come and look for the color or low frequency layer. And remember, we're going to be subtracting. So look for the blending and click on subtract. And now make sure the scale is 2 and the offset 128. So click OK. Change the blending mode to linear light and you get back the image initially the way it was. So we're going to put these two in a group by selecting the two of them and clicking Ctrl. And before we can do this, let's deselect. Select your color or low frequency layer, and you can as well create a blank layer in between, but if at all you don't wish to, just select the two layers and group them. Ctrl G to put them in a group. So we can name this frequency separation. So we are done. So you can see there is no difference between the initial image and our frequency separation group. You can see there is no difference at all. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be using the mixer brush tool first, so that we can blend the unevenness in the skin tones for this very model. So come to click on your texture or high frequency layer and create a black and white layer. Come right here. So you can see the image is going to turn into black and white. I'm sorry guys if at all I'm talking really slow. I'm not well, but I have to do this tutorial. So just darken it to see the unevenness in the skin tones. So come right here to your mixer brush tool, and if at all you don't have it right here, just look for it under the brushes and get your mixer brush tool. And for those who have been asking about the hardness and everything, I make sure I use it is a soft mixer brush tool. Yeah, for those that have been asking about the hardness, so make sure it is a clean brush. And this right here is check. The reason for selecting this is we want the mixer brush tool to clean itself after each and every stroke. It's like when you're painting and you have your brush and you want to apply a different color, you have to clean the brush. So basically that is what the mixer brush tool does. This very option does. So make sure wetness is at 9, the load is at 75, the mix at 90, and the flow at 100. So we are going to start blending, and when you're blending, make sure you blend the midtones alone, the highlights alone, and the shadows alone. So let's do this quick, and make sure you're on your color or low frequency layer when you're blending. So let's do this blending quick. Yeah. So what really this does, it helps to blend the unevenness in the skin tones, so that when you're applying the other frequency separation method, you have less work to do. So basically that is what this does, or it helps us to do. So you can as well come to these parts and do the blending on these very parts. So you shouldn't do this too much. So turn this off and you can see progress. So before after, you can see the progress so far. So you're going to delete the black and white layer, and you're going to come and select the lasso tool. Make sure your feathering is between 18 and 21 pixels. So we're going to select the skin area right here. As you can see, select the skin area. You really have to be careful. So come to filter, come to blur, and come to Gaussian blur. So we are going to move this slider until we can see the best skin for the model. So move this slider. I think at around 26 we have the best skin texture for, let's see, 26. Yeah, we have the best skin texture for the model. So just click OK, and yeah, just come and select the rest of the areas of the model skin and apply the effect. I think frequency separation is one of the best methods if applied really well. Yeah, I know most people tend to mess it up and they end up having fake results. So you really have to be careful with this method, because if you don't apply it right or the right way, you'll end up messing up the whole image. So right click and apply the effect. So let's come right down to the chin area. And apply the effect, so you can see how beautiful the image is turning out to be. You can see before after. It is really subtle and it is not too much. So let's continue applying the effect. I'm sorry if at all this is turning out to be a long tutorial. I just had to do it anyway. And I think I should be giving you guys the raw file as long as you follow me on my Instagram and give me credit. Yeah. And the other thing, you shouldn't put your watermarks on my images because I own the rights to my images. Yeah, you shouldn't put your watermarks on the images. So this is my work. So if at all I give you a raw image for practice, you shouldn't put or add watermarks to the images, and you should remember to credit me for my images. So I think we are done retouching this image. So the next step we're going to be doing, we are going to be removing the blemishes. So come to your texture layer, and usually I prefer to use the clone stamp tool. So I'm going to zoom in and clean up this image because it is the blemish removal that changes the overall image. Yeah, it changes your overall retouching game. So you should be careful with this very step because it does the magic on your images. So I should say the model really had a nice skin. Let's do this. I'm sorry if at all we are having those quiet breaks. We are trying to remove pimples or blemishes. So what the clone stamp tool does, you hold down the alternate button to sample from a clean area and paint over the blemish you're trying to um, get rid of. So that's basically how it really works, and you can see it provides nice results with the blemish removal. I think you can see guys how this blemish removal bit really transforms the image by a great mile. So after this, we're going to be doing some little bit of eye whitening and eye cleaning up. So let's do this. I think this is fine. So let's remove these blemishes right here. I'm sorry if I'm slow. I'm not really well. That's why everything is slow and I'm talking really slow in this tutorial. But I felt like I should make this tutorial for you guys because I know it's been so long ever since I dropped a tutorial on this channel. I think we are done retouching this image. Let's see the before and after. You can see what we have transformed this image into. So what we're going to be doing right now, we're going to be doing the eye whitening for this image by first of all creating a stamp visible layer by clicking shift Control Alt E, Shift Control Alternate E, and duplicating that, Control J. Then come to filter, come to camera raw filter, and we are going to do the eye whitening for this image. Get your adjustment brush, and temperature is at -30, tint is at 71, the highlights at 5 and the whites at 4. And since we are removing colors from the eye, you're going to desaturate to around -71. So just simply paint over the white area of the eye to whiten it. You can see that. And if at all you feel it is not working, you can come back up and so basically we are doing the eye and teeth whitening for our model. So I think that is fine. You can see the transformation. So let's do a teeth whitening now. So when you're doing this, make sure you brush each individual tooth and you resist from painting over the gum for the models. I think we are done with the teeth whitening tool. So let's come back to our basic and we do a little bit of adjustments. So let's add a little bit of contrast to this image and pull up the shadows too. Come to camera calibration right here and play around with these sliders to see what really works best for us. I think the image looks well the way it is. Maybe let's play around with the red primaries. I think it is fine the way it is. So you can see the before and after for this very image. So this tutorial has been about frequency separation, and we did the eye and teeth whitening for the model. And I'm Ronnix from Ronnixphotography. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in yet another retouching tutorial on this channel, and stay safe.